Hello and welcome to the virtual open house for Wisconsin Virtual Learning High School. I am Miss Cisneros. I'm the English teacher here at the high school, and the rest of the people you see on the screen are other members of the high school staff. We have local Wisconsin certified teachers in all of the core areas of the high school. This is a map right here of where all of our students are currently located. You'll see we've got it color coordinated. And you can see that we are truly throughout the entire state of Wisconsin. Um, so no matter where you're coming to us from, there are others in your area that are also coming to us for their education. One of the main things people ask about or inquire about when they're looking to go to Wisconsin Virtual Learning is what's the difference between what we offer and where they're coming from. And if you're coming from a homeschooling situation, or a brick and mortar school, in both situations, there's going to be some things that we have in common and some things that are completely different. If you're coming from the homeschool situation, you'll be used to having many curriculum options. You'll be used to having pacing flexibility. You'll be used to having the parent-student driven, no state testing required, and social opportunities through other supported communities. Here at Wisconsin Virtual Learning, we do have different curriculum options, so you'll still have that, but it might not be as wide open as you're familiar with. We do have a lot of flexibility in our schedule, but not quite as much as with the homeschooling situation, as we do have recommended daily due dates with weekly deadlines, and a very flexible daily schedule, though we do prefer that our students stay on pace as far as weekly assignments. When you're in a homeschooling situation, it's primarily the student and parent that are driving the instruction, whereas with WVL, we are parent, teacher, and student driven, so there's a little bit more. The WKCE is a required test right now for us, but we do have plenty of school outings and extracurriculars to keep your students involved in the community around them. If you're coming from a brick and mortar situation, they have a much more structured daily class schedule than us. They have daily teacher instruction and they have assignments due daily. WVL in the high school has 2 times per week that you would meet with your high school teachers in a class format where we are online teaching live classes. And then we have study hall and office hours the other 3 days of the week where you could go to visit your teachers if you needed to have contact with them. But on those other 3 days, those would be days where you're doing work independently at home, out of textbooks and websites. In the brick and mortar, it's primarily the teacher and student relationship and not too much parent support, whereas parent support is definitely needed here in Wisconsin Virtual Learning. There is daily social interaction. Our students are eligible for WIAA sports, extracurriculars, and WKCE testing. So we have all that in common and a little bit of differences. However, like in a brick and mortar or homeschooling situation, our students need to be academically motivated. They need to have independent study skills, a little bit more than if they were in a brick and mortar school. There is no teacher looking over their shoulder throughout every class in the day. They have to have time management skills. We can all imagine being home during the day and thinking, oh, I'll get to that in a little bit. Well, with online learning, there has to be a rigid schedule that we follow, and we have to set expectations for ourselves. So it's very important that the student has time management skills or is willing to work to develop those. We also strive to have lots of students either improve or use their ability to reach out for help or academic support. Again, you won't have the teacher or parent sitting in the same room with them, seeing the look on their face that says, oh, I just don't get it. So the student has to be willing to reach out for help via telephone, email, coming to office hours, or any other means they can find to get a hold of us. All of these things attribute to a self-disciplined, well-organized student, which is required for success in any school, but even more so in the online setting. As far as the parent or learning coach role, Just like in a brick and mortar or homeschooling situation, the parent has to be involved in order for the student to be as successful as they possibly could. And here at Wisconsin Virtual Learning, we expect the parent or learning role to monitor and follow up with the students. So we expect them to check to make sure their work is done, check to make sure the student's on task, ask to see their assignment notebook, their daily calendar, and to really be their guide on the side to support. We don't encourage the parents to be the actual teachers in the room. We don't expect you to be the one giving them the daily instruction, but we do expect you to make sure that your student is constantly turning in their assignments on time, that they're checking their grades every week, and that they're moving on pace with the rest of the class. Because of the layout and format of our school, we do expect our parents or learning coaches to be tech savvy enough to check for those grades online and check the email daily. We expect them to contact the teachers or the SLAs with any questions or concerns they have, and to send their student to their teachers when it comes to content-specific questions or comments. So don't worry, we don't plan on all of our coaches learning calculus with their students, but we do expect them to be the ones directing them in the right direction to get the help that they need. Within Wisconsin Virtual Learning, there are 3 different pathways that you could take. The majority of our students are on the virtual pathway. Virtual pathway has mandatory attendance for those 2 live classes per week, like I mentioned earlier. And those are mandatory attendance days. We take attendance, and you will get phone calls if they don't make it to those classes. There's a pace set by the teacher. So our teachers have a calendar with daily assignments, daily tasks, and the students are expected to stay on pace. We also have weekly deadlines where maybe they have to miss a day of school on Tuesday to get their wisdom teeth pulled, but then they have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to play catch up, and everything's due on Friday. Then we do have what's called an independent pathway, where they would use the exact same calendar, they would use the exact same curriculum as the virtual pathway, but class is not mandatory those 2 times a week. So if your student is not interested in having the live interaction with other teachers and classmates, this would be their option, though most of our students really do prefer the virtual pathway, and that's the way we guide them. The independent pathway is not a pathway that excludes deadlines. You will still have a pace set up by your teacher that we expect you to stick to, just so that we don't put off too much till the end of the semester, but it would be a little bit more flexible than the virtual pathway. As far as technology, some of the things that you would do every single day with the virtual school setting is navigate the internet. Every day there will be internet navigation. So every day your child has to have easy access to an internet connection, a reliable internet connection. They'll have to be using their email every day. They'll have to know how to use a printer or scanner, how to save or update documents, how to download or upload documents, how to organize documents into a file, and how to check grades weekly or more often, we would prefer. But all of these things are things that we will teach at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the semester when your child joins us, but we do expect them to be mastered by you and your student as soon as possible. Now, if you're wondering what our school looks like, currently it looks like this. This is the American Government class. You'll see they have their email. They'll have their course resources, which are the links to the live classes. They have their grades right on the front page. They have a calendar with their list of tasks to do every day. They have all of their contact methods of getting a hold of their teacher, and then they have announcements in case the teacher had a special message for the whole class that particular day. Then we also have, this is one particular class. Down on the bottom, this is a different screenshot, and this one is what they would log into like when they walk into the school. The bottom half is their school. That's where all of their classes are listed. And then the top half is more like walking into their classroom, where all this information is just specific to their class. One of the great things about Wisconsin Virtual Learning is that we have a lot of teacher-created classes, which is what helps us stand apart from some of the other virtual schools here in Wisconsin. There's a lot of curriculum options where you can just buy the entire course and teach from there, whereas WVL has teacher-created classrooms, meaning each teacher created their own lesson plans, set up their own classes, and the great part about that is that it's customizable. We can include local events, we can include daily occurrences, things that happen in the news, for example, the Olympics or the Packers winning the Super Bowl or whatever else might be timely and happening right now to keep our students connected to the world around them. They're all aligned with the Common Core standards, and by writing our own courses, we are much more passionate about our content than if we were teaching something that someone else created. Also keep in mind that every class that we teach, we are certified to teach in according to Wisconsin certification laws. Our school provides 24/7 access to all class materials. We have live classes twice a week, and then we save the classes after we record them, so if your student were to miss a class, they would be able to log back in and watch the recording, much like you're watching the recording right now. We have small class sizes of 30 or less students. We also have plenty of opportunities for one-on-one time with your teachers, such as office hours and study hall. We offer a wide variety of electives because we can offer classes even though we don't have all of the teachers in-house, which is more than a brick and mortar could do. And we have a whole school full of students looking for just what you're looking for, a great opportunity. So you'll be surrounded by people with similar interests as you. Here's our team of SLAs, or Student Learning Advocates. This group of lovely people are here to give every family someone to look out for them. Every student is assigned to a learning coach, and every 3 weeks you'll be in contact with this person. They'll help you set expectations, arrange exceptions, and create solid relationships within the school. These are your go-to people for any situation that will arise that you'll need help with. We offer lots of AP classes at our school. So if you're thinking college, these are some great classes that you could take to help you get prepared and even a little ahead of some peers by being able to take any one of these AP classes. Outside of school, we take lots of field trips, do lots of outings. We have a yearbook club, we have a student council club, a National Honor Society, and a SMART team, which is a science-based club where students actually become researchers in the field. So we have lots of opportunities for extracurricular activities for your students to help them stay involved in their community, as well as gain some of those necessary checkpoints for resumes and college transcripts. To keep each other connected, we offer lots of discussions and group projects in class to help them create that sense of community and camaraderie. There are study halls, office hours, and high school hangouts. There's Google Plus, where students can chat in groups or one-on-one. There's school-sponsored workshops, and there's also the community organizations in your community that can help your teacher keep connected even though they're online and working from home. WVL is the premier online K-4 through 12 public educational provider here in Wisconsin. This is our 11th year, going into our 12th. The high school's about to be in its 8th year. And we combine the best technology, personal instruction, and extensive and challenging curriculum with very highly qualified teachers, if I do say so myself. It's a one-of-a-kind interaction, and we are dedicated to the success of all of our students. If you have any questions or concerns, this is Jessica Barish. She is our Director of Admissions, and you have her email and her phone number here. Feel free to get a hold of her by either means that is more comfortable for you, and she'll be in contact with you soon to get those answers to you. I hope this was a helpful presentation, and I look forward to meeting you in the future. Have a good day.